It'd be a shame to go 30 minutes.
And have it not record.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi.
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So my name's Tucker. I'm a clinical mental health counselor.
Mhm.
Today we're going to be doing some dialectical behavioral therapy. But this is our first session, so really I just want to get to know you and just, you can tell me what you're working on, what you're struggling with, and we'll take it from there. So this is just a basic first assessment.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Thank you,
So
Tucker.
yeah, what brings you in?
I've been dealing with a little bit of imposter syndrome going to grad school, and it's been a little stressful, just not feeling quite up to par. I would say I've been out of undergrad for quite some time, and I think there's just been some, just like not quite feeling like I belong with my fellow classmates, if that makes sense.
Yeah. In what instances are you feeling this?
I think I get a lot of anxiety talking in class.
Yeah.
This program is vastly different from what I did in undergrad, which was human physiology. So it was very much get lectured at, answer the questions, there is a correct answer. And where this is, there is no right answer. It depends is the right answer, And so it's been a lot of just not quite feeling like I'm there ready to like speak up in class, but it's not that, it's certainly not on any of the other students. This is all very internal. Everyone's so kind and supportive of one another. It's just, I think I feel maybe from my past, like, why would I need to be the one answering, if that makes sense?
So in your past school experiences, did you speak up then?
There wasn't really room to, I guess. The answer is definitely no. I've never been one to really want to speak up. I do much better in very small groups. But in the past, they weren't really asking for our opinions because it was anatomy. So it's not like you have like these profound thoughts.
Right.
It's kind of textbook,
Sure. So your previous schooling is in anatomy. Okay. And what I'm hearing is in anatomy, things are like there are right answers and wrong answers, and there's not as much discussion.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I guess it's a very new experience for me, and generally new experiences kind of leave me with a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. That's normal. Can you tell me more about your experience in school before this program?
I went to like all the way like high school and on.
Yeah.
Is that okay? I was in a really small high school. I'm from a very small town. So my graduating class is like 50 kids, so like 250 for the whole school. And it wasn't hard to do well, I guess. I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself to like be a good student, and I never really got any of that from like my parents. It was always kind of myself adding the pressure on, It was very, got all my work done. I was a very involved student, in all the clubs and everything, the extracurriculars. When I got to college though, it certainly wasn't a lack of effort. I think I just wasn't doing as well as I wanted to be doing.
Okay.
Classes just got a lot harder.
Sure.
I remember so distinctly, my first college class was 500 kids, and my whole high school was 250. So it was crazy, I think, to go from such a small population in an intimate setting to like kind of just being a number, and that was a big shock.
Yeah.
And that took me a long time to get adjusted to. And so I think maybe I did speak up a lot more in high school. I was much more comfortable, but I'd also known everybody most of my life. So it wasn't strangers. It was very easy to be around these people. And then in college, there wasn't necessarily space to speak up, but I don't think I would have, just because it was so many people, but you know, I was taking classes like chemistry and biology where it's not like, you're not really like telling your opinion, you know, you're hoping to answer a question correctly.
Sure.
Kind of as you said, the right and wrong answer.
I see.
Yeah.
And you said earlier that your parents really didn't encourage you to do well in school or go to college. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. I guess I didn't mean, they were very encouraging of me to do well, but not like in that way where they didn't put necessarily firm expectations, if that makes sense. It's not that they were extremely encouraging for me to like go to college and wanted me to succeed. My dad was I think not necessarily the first in his family to go to college. His sister was, but that kind of generation where he was one in the first generation to go to college. So it was very much, I guess we never really had the conversation thinking back on it now, but I think there was kind of maybe an unspoken, I would go to college, but they weren't, I'm thinking of like maybe a couple of my friends that would get grounded if they didn't get an A. I didn't have that kind of, they were just very much like, do your best.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe they didn't ever have to put that pressure on me because I was very much, I'm gonna do well.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to do well for the people around me, like for myself as well, but I would say probably to please them at some level, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you went to college, did you have the same feeling of imposter syndrome when you went to college, or is this a new thing?
This is kind of a new thing. I would say when I kind of reflect a lot on kind of those early teenage years, there was just this like almost blind confidence.
Yeah.
You know, but I also think that was in the, almost in the atmosphere of college. Just you're a freshman, everybody's learning the ropes and like it's okay to maybe not do well. And there was the whole spectrum, I think, because there were so many people. It was people that were really, really doing super well. And then there were people that were partying every night and not going to class. And I kind of felt okay somewhere in the middle, you know, going to class, but maybe not also having like a balanced life. So I definitely felt very much like I belonged.
Yeah. And I guess if you were to picture yourself speaking up in class, you know, can you picture yourself speaking up in class? Can you visualize that?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Do you, I guess like after a class, do you regret not saying certain things?
Yes, I'm very hard on myself. I really feel that I want to actively participate in the discussion, but I think I get so worried that what I have to say maybe isn't good enough, you know, if that makes sense. Like just maybe it's not on par with everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can assure you that if you have a question, you know, it's the old adage, like there are no dumb questions.
Yeah.
Like if you have a question, there's probably other people in the class that are thinking the same thing and wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
But I guess what are some steps do you think you could do to get yourself to a place to where speaking up in class feels natural, or maybe doesn't feel natural, but you will at least still do it?
I think probably just ripping off the Band-Aid, to be honest, would be the easiest way to just do it and get comfortable. It's something that like the second I start thinking about like raising my hand and like asking a question or making a point, it's like my heart starts pounding super fast, and it's like a very clear manifestation of anxiety. And then I go, oh, maybe not. You know, it's like I'm very much making the conscious effort to not when I start having those feelings.
Yeah. Can you think of other instances where you get anxiety, other social interactions?
Yeah, it's really those like those new interactions. I get a lot of anxiety around new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, like just moving to Portland and trying to figure out just even driving around has been kind of an anxiety inducer
Sure.
a little bit, just like feeling like almost everybody else is like, can you just make that left turn already? But I'm sitting there waiting because I don't can't gauge.
I don't think that ever goes away.
No. That might just be two people with anxiety.
Can you think of instances where you get anxiety, but maybe there's also a sense of exhilaration or like a positive attachment to it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that when I experience the anxiety and then I kind of almost not overcome, but like I end up doing the thing that was making me anxious and I do it well, then I just feel very, very good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, what was I in my head so much about? Why did I
Sure.
put that much pressure on this thing that like wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be?
Yeah. Yeah, I go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you think of times when you have like a bit of anxiety before something, but you're really feeling exhilarated and it's not really necessarily negative?
Yeah, I think, you know, I was really, really anxious going to the first day of class,
Yeah.
but not in a negative way, just in I felt so excited to be
Right.
there. Like it was new, but it was like, okay, this is like what we worked hard for.
Yeah.
This is what we've been like planning our life around the next few months, you know, in advance to be here today. And like that was really exciting. And I ended up, you know, making a friend that first day
Yeah.
and like in class. And that was just like such a like a relief that it had been kind of like that anxiety and that excitement up here and then just being like, oh, relaxed, like and like
Yeah.
settled in.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's going to be anxiety in all sorts of different parts of our lives, and we can get excited, or we can think to ourselves, I have anxiety right now, and it can almost pull us into a more fearful place. And you know, recognizing that there are some anxiety is good,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and that you can kind of use it as like a launch pad to explore new things. You know, I think that can be a really beneficial practice.
I like that. I like that. A launch pad. That's a nice way to think about it.
Yeah, I've experienced a lot of anxiety, and I suffer from the same sorts of speaking up in class sort of butterflies, and you know, I don't think it's never gone away, and I don't expect that it ever really will.
Yeah.
But being able to think of it as, oh, I'm excited about whatever it is I'm about to do, can make all the difference, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any goals in regards to your anxiety in class?
Yeah, I've been trying to set a goal for myself and like speaking up in class like at least once.
Yeah.
Every class, just to kind of get used to it and feel like a little bit better about it. Was doing really, really well. And then I went on a vacation, and that kind of, I think, which was great, but it really rocked me from where I was kind of feeling a little more centered in class to kind of being shaken from that position. And now it's like this week I didn't speak up in class once, and I was like, you had thoughts, like why didn't you share them? Like why didn't you just like get into that? And I think that timeline just kind of set me back a little bit, and now I'm still gonna work towards my goal.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
You know, and I also think that you are not alone in these feelings.
Yeah.
Like, I
Thank
think
you.
probably the majority of most of your classes, the people sitting around you, these same thoughts are going through their heads. So don't think that you're different in that, you know, like anxiety is very, very normal.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
nice to
we,
hear. It's to be validated.
yeah, you know, it's there for a reason. You know, it is part of who we are.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. It is. It's here to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing, and hopefully we can work on this in the future.
Yeah,
If
thank you
you're-
so
if
much.
you're into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
start the next session.
Okay, let's do it.
Do you feel like that was long enough?
Let's see.
Do you want